Are you bored living a mediocre life? We were too, and we know how to change that. Each week, we'll leave our comfort zones to explore a new topic, then step onto our soapboxes, a safe space to sound off on our latest adventure. Come explore with us. All opinions are welcome. This is a mindset. This is a lifestyle. This is Siren Soapbox.
Hello and welcome, fellow explorers. Thank you for diving in. Our mission is to get you and ourselves out of our comfort zone to explore, because that is where real growth happens. We want to take you along with us on our next adventure. Find out how by going to sirensoapbox.com. Click Dive In and Explore to learn more. We recently added a new way to explore with us. Last week, we did our first ever movie club. Search for us on Facebook, Getting Real, REEL, with Siren Soapbox. We meet quarterly via Zoom, and our next meeting will be in April. Join now so you can participate in voting for the next movie. All movies we dive into are about escaping comfort zones and exploring. And with a true Siren Soapbox twist, we do a movie-themed challenge before each event. So grab your popcorn and come explore the movies with us. Have you ever rubbed your eyes and seen a kaleidoscope, say that 5 times fast, of colors? It's pretty trippy. What if I told you that you can achieve this effect in a meditative state without the use of illegal substances or practically having to gouge your eyes out? Well, you're in luck. The Sirens explored an app called Luminate. According to an article in futurism.com, the app's goal is to make subconscious exploration more accessible than ever before. This sounds right up the Sirens' alley. It's available for download for Apple and Android. The first session is free, and there's either an annual or monthly fee after that. Part of our deep dive on the subject involved watching famed YouTubers Rhett and Link's Good Mythical Morning, episode 2060. Will this app make us hallucinate? According to Rhett and Link, AVE, audio visual entertainment, name that because it's training the mind's brain waves to switch into different states of consciousness. It's also referred to as brainwave synchronization. The official definition of AVE is the hypothesized capacity of the brain to naturally synchronize its brainwave frequencies with a rhythm of periodic external stimuli, most commonly auditory, visual, or tactile. Hallucinations occur when something funky happens in the brain's frontal lobe and the sensory cortices. Tricks your brain into a dreamlike state while still being awake to ignite the theta brainwaves responsible for the vivid imagery while we're dreaming. Everyone's experiences with AVE are completely unique. Did you catch all that? Thank you, Rhett and Link, for that explanation. Disclaimer: people prone to seizures with flashing lights need to know when to mango out. So what did the Sirens see? Did any of them mango out? We are about to find out. If at any time the conversation gets too intense, the safe word, as hinted before, is
Mango.
Oh.
First up on her soapbox is Mer.
All right, are you guys back? Okay. Oh, now I gotta close the chat. Okay, I'm ready now. I jumped right in using the app with very little research ahead of time, so I wasn't sure what to expect. Even though we had clear instructions to watch a video and read an article first, I am queen of my own choices, so there's that. The Discover Luminate session was super trippy. After it ended, I was just left there thinking, whoa. And then I immediately started another session. My favorite session so far has been the Achieving Your Goals, which is one of the guided experiences. This tour of my brain helps me focus on an achievable goal and identify some barriers to achieving that goal. Then I had an opportunity to identify some things I can do to overcome those barriers. I have only completed 3 sessions so far, and I have noticed a few things. Each session is completely different as far as the visual experience goes. One thing that was the same each time, though, is the deep meditative state my body fell into. It was like I was sedated or hypnotized or something. And as soon as the flashlight turned off, it was all back to normal, just like that. And each time I completed a session, I was ready to reflect and journal and just really continue the intention into my real life. I also noticed that the sessions felt so much shorter than they actually were, which was a weird thing for me. I wouldn't say this experience was out of my comfort zone. In fact, I was pretty excited about trying Luminate. I'm fascinated by the idea of psychedelics, so a chance to have a psychedelic experience without the drugs sounds pretty freaking awesome to me. I'm going to continue using Luminate for a month since I did pay for it, because you have to after the one session that they rope you in with. Whether I continue beyond that remains to be seen. I do really enjoy the experience, and I enjoy the meditative effects that they had on my body. And I would recommend this to friends who are looking for a new method for meditation, but I will caution them that it can be pretty intense. Sarah, let's hear about your Luminate journey.
Well, this seemed like a really fun thing to try. I mean, like you said, hallucinate a little without using illegal chemicals? Sure. So I got started on this one right away. Not just because we found out only about it just last week, but because I was even more hyped up about it after watching the YouTube video about the Luminate app that the Good Mythical Morning recorded. That was really fun. I absolutely loved the sessions that I did. I've done 3 so far, and each has been a little bit different. The first one I did a little later at night than I probably should have done, and so I'm a little embarrassed to report that I actually fell asleep before it ended. But before I fell asleep, I saw lots of geometrical patterns that would flash repeatedly, which was really cool. It reminded me of how sometimes if I'm in a quiet space and there is a sudden noise, I'll actually see the noise in a flash of a geometrical pattern. Just one flash though, not repeating flashes like with the app. I did find the voice giving instructions or asking questions to be a little distracting. I was pretty disappointed when I woke up and realized I'd fallen asleep. Of course, that is my MO whenever I get comfy in front of a screen, and my eyes were closed. So my next session was a longer session, and I stayed awake for the whole thing. This session was one of the goal setting sessions, which was a little annoying at first because, again, there was a lot of talking. I think I was expecting more music or just quiet to let you sort of drift off into hallucination territory. But after a few minutes, I kind of started to get more into thinking about the goal I picked. So the direction of the questions being asked was pretty helpful. Plus, it seemed that each question had a different light intensity or color and frequency. So I imagined that creating magic in my head, I imagined that that was creating this sort of magic in my head to make my goals into reality, a different kind of manifestation. So that was really kind of cool. My favorite session, though, was a session that had really little talking. I loved the colors, the shapes, and the tunnels that I followed during this one. I mean, it was literally like you were following a tunnel throughout this one. It was really kind of cool. While I must admit that I do have trouble getting my head to be quiet, there was a minute there where all of a sudden I saw a cartoon face. Not a face that I recognized, but it was clearly a cartoon. And I looked at it for a moment, and then it started changing. And as I watched it, I realized that I could make it change, or at least that's what it seemed like. And that was really cool. It was sort of the closest thing that I had to sort of controlling it and it being a sort of a hallucination or something like that. But it was really neat. And I have to say that I'm looking forward to some more sessions. So Jess, what would you like to tell everyone about Luminate?
Well, my first suggestion to anybody wanting to try this, make sure that your cats are not in the room. I was doing the tutorial and they interrupted me a few times. So when I was finally doing my sessions, I made sure that the door was closed. I didn't really know what to expect, but I was super interested to try to fight the urge to open my eyes when there's a flashing light. Once I got past that, I started to experience patterns that reminded me of an old MP3 player on your laptop or computer where it has the sound waves dancing, which
Jess, you accidentally muted yourself, so we can't hear you anymore.
Anyway.
So you need to start back from the sound waves piece. That was like the last thing we heard.
You don't want Harry Potter playing like that? Could you guys actually hear my ringtone?
No, we didn't hear that.
Well, that's good because it's Harry Potter.
Oh, okay. That must be what muted your phone.
Yeah, it started
Okay.
ringing.
Sorry.
It's on silent.
That's good.
Oh, anyway. So sound waves or like the MP3 player?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Once I got past that, I started experiencing patterns that reminded me of an old MP3 player on your laptop or computer and how the sound waves would dance, or maybe the super classic Fantasia. I kept waiting for colors like a lot of the descriptions talked about in the link video and the article that we read. I did experience purple and red, but mostly I just had white lights that created patterns that moved with the sound. I also experienced a bright light above me that seemed like the sun shining down, which was really weird because I was holding the light down lower than my head and pointing it up. What I'm most curious about is what you guys all found for the best position to be in and hold your phone in, because my arm started falling asleep and I would love to try to do this right before bed to get myself relaxed. But how did you do it without dropping the phone on your face or falling asleep? But I think I will continue this for a few more sessions. I'm not quite sure I'm ready for the yearly subscription level of commitment, but definitely a monthly commitment. So LC, did you see pretty lights?
I did. And the way I felt after doing a Luminate session is exactly how I expected to feel after meditating. I felt relaxed. I felt like I'm coming back into the real world after a magical trip. And that is not what happens when I actually meditate, like without the app. A really good example of a normal meditation session for me. To set the scene, I'm at church in adoration. And today was special because it was the exposition of the Eucharist, which for Catholics is a big deal. That means Jesus is like right there. So big man JC is there, and I'm trying to quiet my mind and listen to the sacred silence. Mentally, I start making a list of all the things I have to do. Then I'm listening to all the noises in the building. And then I shit you not, in my head, in a sing-songy voice, I'm going, silence, silence, this is silence. And I'm like, I give up. So point being, with Luminate, I'm able to shut up my monkey mind and I'm just present. And I was scared to try this at first. You see all those warnings and it adds this element of danger to it. And in retrospect, I probably should have told someone what I was doing first. My first experience, I wrote that there were a lot of aquas and reds, fluttery eyes, and my eyes were watering. After the first one, I was like Neo in the Matrix, and I just was like, more, plug me in. I want to learn it all. And I jumped straight into the intense sessions. For the second one, there were so many bright, beautiful colors and a kaleidoscope of patterns and lights dancing. A few times I had what looked like the 80s music video take on me with like those black and white sketchies and the fractal looking shapes. And then one time I just wrote butterfly. My funniest journal entry was, damn, that was awesome. I was writing for a book after a few sessions, and I felt like I was pretty loose and connected to a deeper, maybe more spiritual part of my consciousness. When I was writing, it was just so easy. And then I went back and reread it a few days later, and there were a bunch of typos. So I guess I was a little bit out of it, but I think I had some good points. I did a couple of a new day sessions a few times, and I felt like I had a couple really productive days. Could it have been from this meditation? Jury is still out, but I will be trying this more. TC, did you mango out of Luminate?
No, I was a little worried when I read that it could cause migraines, but I was not going to mango on this one. It was out of my comfort zone for that reason, though. This is such a kaleidoscope of colors. And by that, I mean that it literally seems like you're looking through a kaleidoscope and turning the wheel so that the colors emanate from the middle and work outward in a mesmerizing display of brain art. Okay, now that I've established how my mind plays with the Luminate app, let's talk preferences. I've heard a man's voice and a woman's voice during the sessions. I prefer the woman's voice. Of all the sessions I've tried, I love the creativity series the most. I'm going to add this to my daily writing routine. I also like the shorter sessions. I like to hold the phone right up to my nose so that the flash is about 2 inches from the center of my eyes. In the first session, she tells you to keep the phone about 7 centimeters away from your eyes. Dino tried the app and he felt that this distance provided the most intensity. I think it's more intense when it's closer to my eyes. I played around with it the next time I tried it. I've tried it laying down and sitting up, resting my head in my hands. I have no preference there. Did I hallucinate? I saw the kaleidoscope of colors I mentioned, shapes and colors dancing outward from the center. It often started with white, then everything would go green. I saw reds and purples and blues, but beyond the shapes and colors, I didn't see other things. Is this hallucinating? I really don't know, but I definitely meditated. I felt relaxed. I felt calm. I wanted to do more. I love the combination of light with the music. Sometimes when I saw something that looked especially beautiful, I would try to focus on it, and then it usually went away. After the experience, I mean immediately after, when the lights stopped, I saw deep purple with aqua specks. Every time I see that, and it's one of my favorite parts. Then the voice came back on, and I don't know about you, I don't think Sarah liked it, but I like the voice. At the end of one of my sessions, she said, "Creativity is born from the richness of being alive." And I love that quote. I love the app. Who else likes the voice?
I was a fan of the guided experiences. I think they call them experiences, not meditations, but it's definitely a meditation.
Did you have a
Kinda.
preference for the man versus the woman, or the woman versus the man? I really like the woman so much better.
I listened to one of each, and I don't think I do have a preference, although I was going to pick one where I had a choice and I was going to select the female voice, but I ended up doing a different meditation instead.
Didn't actually notice a difference until you pointed it out. I mean, I knew it was like a man and a female, but I didn't like say, oh, I can't do this, or I'm uncomfortable, or it takes away, distracts from the experience at all because of who it was.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I had the woman, and then I had the man, and the next one I did, I had the woman, and I was like, yes, it's the woman again. So that's how I know I preferred her.
So
Sorry?
Tracy, oh, sorry.
I don't know that I preferred the man versus the woman. I just know that it got kind of irritating. It was like they were bossy talking to me.
Who are you to tell me how to meditate
But
or do a
then,
coloring book
right.
page?
that's right. That's right. But then, like I said, I can't get my brain to shut up, and I think that's one of the things that when I was thinking about this, because I don't meditate, and part of the reason I don't is because my mind won't shut up, and that's why I think I'm so. Whenever I sit down, I can't just sit down. I have to pick up my phone and read my book for a minute.
Rock
Even if
back
I'm
and
just sitting
forth in
down
your
for a
chair.
minute, I have to read. Or if I sit down on the couch, I have to turn the TV on for a minute because I have to have something. Otherwise my brain is just. So I have to focus on something else. I'm like you. I've got a monkey brain that won't shut up.
No wonder you like being a siren. There's plenty of reading and activities and things to do.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You definitely will not get bored being a siren.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ruining. I'm going to get all echoey, but we've got this one. We've got this journal that my daughter got me. Isn't that awesome?
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Ah,
Oh,
that's
it's
cool.
gratitude.
It's a
Journal,
gratitude
nice.
journal. I love that. Oh, I think I want to do that for an upcoming
Wait.
episode. Spoiler alert.
I've got
Yeah.
this
The
one.
positive thinking
Nice.
workbook.
Oh, Reclaim Your
All my
Wild. Saw
reading.
that.
I just saw Reclaim Your Wild. Yeah.
I've got all my reading.
all the books we're
So
working on.
really, people can just go to sirensoapbox.com and click on dive in
The store,
and explore
yeah.
with us, and
Yeah.
they can follow along too.
Now I have to recreate my little computer anti-echoey box.
So
Oh,
Tracy, I experienced it the same way you did visually, with just a bunch of lights or a bunch of colors and patterns that were almost like tunnel-like. Did anybody else have images?
I had a butterfly.
Oh, that's right.
No, I had the cartoon face. That was crazy. And
Mm,
it started changing into different cartoon faces. It was really cool.
wow.
We
I
had-
went on Reddit and I read about it, and there were a lot of people that were describing the different hallucinations they had, and I just had a kaleidoscope.
I had a kaleidoscope a lot, and I'm glad that you said that. I forget exactly what you said, but it was like the more that I tried to focus on what it was, the more I lost it. So I just had to
Yeah.
let go of any expectation or anything and just experience it. And there were so many times I'm like, I wish I could take a picture of this, and I
Me too.
couldn't.
You know what
And
it reminded me of? Do you remember those pictures in the 80s that you had to stare at and lose focus so that
Yeah.
you could see the 3D image? It's a
Yeah.
Seinfeld episode, but that's what it reminded me of. If I focused on this beautiful thing I was seeing, boop, it went away.
yeah, the harder you try to see it, the more it goes away. It was just so
Mhm.
weird. Crap, I forget my other point. But I was going to say, did you guys know that Nostradamus did this?
I
Well,
did not know that.
not exactly this app, because cell phones didn't exist back in the day, but
Right.
he received his visions while staring at the sun, which Siren Soapbox does not condone or recommend.
No, we do not.
So that is not a new thing, using light, and people would pass their hand in front of the light and make these hallucinations happen.
See, Rhett said that he could control his images.
I know. He could see numbers and letters if he wanted to. I couldn't do that. And on that video, it appeared to be their first time ever trying it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe with practice I can do it. I don't know.
I'm surprised, of all people, TC, that you couldn't control the images, because you're the one who can fly in your dreams.
Oh, that was what I was going to ask. I had a time where I felt like I was sinking and just descending like you would in the ocean, scuba diving. And then I had a moment where I felt like I was
Did you have to
going
equalize?
up. I did not, thankfully. And then I almost felt like I was flying. So I was wondering if anybody else had that feeling.
No, but I am looking forward to that happening. What about you, Jess?
I wanted to feel like I was flying. And I was actually really worried before I tried it because of the whole this can trigger migraines, because I do get migraines, and I was just like, please don't get a migraine. Just show me pretty colors.
Just when you get migraines, do you get the lights? Like I get flashing lights when I get migraines, and the flashing lights that I get when I get migraines looked a lot like this. And
I do.
Okay.
If there's light in the room, I get flashing lights. So I always have to just go lay in a dark room. So I was just like, I don't know about this, but that's why I just did the intro, the demo. And I was like, okay, if this causes even a slight headache, I'm going to mango out of this, because I do not want to give myself a full-blown migraine. But
Right.
but then I just I only ever had patterns and only a few colors, but I didn't want to do the images, because then I knew I would try to focus on them, and if I try to focus on something, I kept opening my eyes. So if I tried to focus, I would be like, oh well.
I didn't
Burn my
open my
retinas.
eyes, but I could tell that it was a relaxed close, because there were a couple times I moved my fingers and I could see the shadow of my fingers. So I knew that my eyes weren't clamped shut, that I could still see some things. but I wasn't tempted to open my eyes, although I did feel like the twitching sensation that she described in the very like the discovery one.
I opened my eyes a couple of times because I felt like the phone had drifted.
Oh.
And then when I did that, then I just had these black dots where all of a sudden
Where the
was-
lights used to be.
burned my retina for a moment.
Okay, Nostradamus.
So TC said how she does her meditation with the app. I would take my pop socket off my phone and then just lay down and place my phone on my forehead.
Oh, that's a good
So
idea.
it's as close
Yeah.
as possible.
I put my pop socket on my nose so that it was like, it's like 2 inches from the center of my eyes. I just had to tilt it a little bit.
Oh.
Mine spins, so it would have been like going everywhere.
Yeah.
So how many inches is 2 centimeters? Is that 2 inches?
No,
It's
it's
7
centimeter is a
centimeters.
little more than half an inch, I think.
Each centimeter is a half an inch ish.
A little more than half an inch. Yeah. I think that's right.
Let me look
So
it up.
7 centimeters would be what, like 3.5
inches.
inches, something like that. Yeah. So
That's what
I don't
she
know
said.
exactly. I mean, I don't know exactly how far Dino was holding it, but when he came out of the room, because I came out of the room and he's like, "How was that?" I'm like, "You got to do it." So he went into the room. I was on puppy duty. He went into the room and tried it out, and he came back out, and I was like, "What'd you think?" He was like, "Trippy." I'm like, "Really? You thought it was trippy?" He's like, "Yeah." Now he also didn't see as many colors as me. Colorblind. Like he literally is. So I don't know if that's why, but he didn't see as many colors as I did. I saw a lot of colors. Oh, I did want to know, when it's all over and the lights stop, do you guys see deep purple with aqua flex? Because I see it every time.
I do. It's like a very faint light, like all the deep colors, but there are some like purples in some or aquas and reds.
I have not noticed that.
I haven't either.
Notice it. I want to know, because every time it's over, it's my favorite part. It's like deep purple with little aqua flecks. And then she comes back on and she says fabulous things like creativity is born from the richness of being alive.
Oh, like I see it for 2 seconds and I'm like, it's over, and I turn it off. I don't even like
I
do
just
the
lay
rest of
there
it.
and look at it. I lay there and look at it to see if the colors change after it's over.
Yeah, I opened my eyes almost immediately when the lights stop. But maybe I'll have to try keeping my eyes closed for a few extra seconds.
Yeah, please do. I want to know. I want to know.
I'll have to
Right,
try.
I'll report back. I'll use the hashtag Siren Soapbox on all the social media to let you know
And
about
TC
it.
will put it in the blog.
Yeah.
Hashtag Siren Soapbox. Hashtag Aquaflex.
Aquaflex, deep purple
Hashtag
with Aquaflex. Wait,
Flex.
isn't Deep Purple an album, Sarah? I feel like that's a band that you might like because you're.
I don't know. I'm not
No,
sure.
that's a band. Deep Purple. Hold on. I'm looking at it right now.
I don't think it's a band.
Right
Sounds
now,
like a
someone
Prince album.
listening thinks I'm in. No, that's Purple Rain.
Purple rain.
Oh my gosh, Sarah.
Purple rain.
Sarah, are you ready for this? Deep Purple are an English rock band formed in London in 1968.
There you go.
Hmm.
Well, and this app is also from England, isn't it? So maybe it's
Huh.
all connected.
Coincidence?
What is it?
The pioneers of heavy rock, heavy metal and modern hard rock.
Yeah.
So, had anybody heard of this before?
No.
No, I had no idea that this was possible.
Yeah. I am a huge Rhett and Link fan. So hit us up, Rhett and Link. Actually, Connor got me into Rhett and Link, and they are pretty amazing. They're kind of like us, but like middle-aged man versions of us where they explore stuff. And I thought it was pretty awesome. They also did another means to hallucinate, which was the holotropic breathing. Had you guys heard of that?
No, what does holotropic mean?
Oh, you're gonna make me look it up.
I mean, you can't come to the table with a word like holotropic and not be able to explain it.
She just throws around holotropic and then has to look up the meaning.
It's like to sound smart. Holotropic breathwork is a therapeutic breathing practice that is intended to help with emotional healing and personal growth. That's from healthline.com. And I mean, they've got another episode on that too, where, you know, you just see them laying on a mat and breathing.
Is it like a guided thing?
I believe in that episode, it's been a couple years since I've seen that. In that episode, I think it was where they had somebody that is specialized in that, talking them through and how to breathe and trying to hallucinate. And people were very concerned about them, which is why they had the disclaimer in the beginning of this episode in 2060.
And
what
was their conclusion
for the holotropic breathing?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to watch it, or we're gonna have to try it.
I did just subscribe to their channel today. They were very interesting. I liked them.
Yeah, they were fun to watch.
They had fabulous hair.
I agree.
I went through a really rough period in my life, and watching Rhett and Link was the only time I would smile during that time. Like, they are just a breath of fresh air and sunshine. I love them.
That's awesome.
My other question, has anybody ever hallucinated before this app? Be it from medical drugs, sleep deprivation, what are those tanks called?
The
Deprivation tanks?
Yes.
Sensory deprivation. So Mark and I are going to do a float. We haven't done it yet, but remember, that was one of our traditions that we're going to start. Is we're going to start the new year with a sauna and a float, but everybody got COVID, so that's been postponed. But so I don't have anything to report yet. In my late teens, I did use some, I used some LSD a couple of times, and I did hallucinate. And this was very similar to that, except it only lasted 15 minutes, which was much better. And I didn't have to put crazy shit in my body. So
Siren Soapbox does not endorse the use of LSD.
I went to a music festival called Rothbury, and in the middle of the woods, they had all these lights in the trees, and they had hammocks lying around everywhere. And the lights they had doing all these different designs. And somebody offered me LSD to look at the lights because they thought that it would make the experience even better. But I did not take the LSD. So no, I have not. To my knowledge, I've not hallucinated. Maybe my entire life is a hallucination and I just don't know it.
We are all in a simulation.
If it is, it's a good one. Do not wake me up.
Are you supposed to hallucinate in the deprivation tanks?
Yes.
Because I've done those. That hasn't happened.
You haven't been able to shut up your monkey mind.
Well, that's probably part of the problem.
Did your monkey mind stay turned on when you were in the sensory deprivation tank?
It never shuts up. It never shuts up.
So what was that experience like for you?
It was just like being in a very dark, quiet place with my mind just never shutting up.
That sounds torturous for you.
I don't think I'd like that. Why did you do it, Sarah?
Because it was very comfortable. It's very comfortable.
So
but I found that it was just, what was difficult for me was that there was no pen and paper in which to write down some notes and lists, because sometimes I get very anxious if there's not pen and paper around, because I'll make lists in my head and then I forget the list because I don't have a very good memory. And so I have to have pen and paper around all the time to write things down.
So it's super hard for you to just
felt like I had to cut myself so I could write something on the wall of the deprivation tank so that when it was over, I could see I could see my list.
Siren Soapbox does not endorse cutting of flesh
or writing lists in blood.
That's
know
what
what?
packs are for.
Here's the thing. If you're going to write something in blood, don't make it a list of what you want to do.
You're not gonna have the energy to do it.
Come up with something a little more interesting. Okay, two things I've noticed on this episode. Number one, I noticed that Elsie can raise one eyebrow and not the other.
Like the
You-
Rock. Oh, that's sexy.
Elsie, you did that. You raised one eyebrow and not the other. Did you know you could do that?
Did not know I could do that.
I can't wait to show you a screenshot. I also noticed
Okay.
that's Sarah. There
I'm
she
just
goes.
gonna make weird faces into the camera.
I can do both.
Oh,
I'm gonna there. Right. Look, no. Anyway, the other thing I noticed is that Siren Sarah must not have a swivel chair in her usual recording
Yes.
location. And
because she swivels a lot. And then go to
she
YouTube and
does
watch it.
today, and it's making me a little sick.
It's making me anxious.
She's got Rain.
What's
There's
happening?
her notes are on oh we're reading your stuff. Mur, I do want to say thank you for sharing, and everything that I've been reading about that app said that it is just like that, and it is. I like having a confidant that I can trust say, yep, it's
Mhm.
very similar.
It is very similar, except you have control over it because you can just flip the phone off if you don't like what's happening.
Right.
You can't get rid of the acid.
Imagine that. Are you guys, well, gosh, I want to know more about the sensory deprivation tank, because I've heard that it's so intense that some people have to have the lid open so there's still some daylight, and that they hallucinate a lot. I'm sorry. We got to do this as an episode, and you got to try it again.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, why
And
did
you
you
can
do
actually-
it? Like,
It's
Why
very,
did you-
it's very comfortable. It's a very
I know
comfortable
that's what
feeling.
you said, but I'm sure one day you didn't say, hey, it's comfortable to be in a deprivation tank. I'm going to go in one. Like, why did you do it?
Oh yeah. What was your reason the first time?
It was someone's
did it-
suggestion.
Oh, okay.
Just a friend at work had done it, and she said it was really fun. You should try this. So I did.
Sarah's she's like a yes girl.
Right. I said yes.
Good for
See?
you. Good for
I
you.
did. I did. And I just want to make one little comment. I was just sitting here thinking, when I make my comfy recording space, I might have to bring my swivel chair from my other office, but now maybe I shouldn't do it.
No, please don't. Please don't.
That's hilarious.
But no, the deprivation tank, it was really cool. But then I started thinking, well, why am I spending the money to come here and then I've got nowhere to write down all the things that are in my head. And there was nothing to distract me from it. And you can choose whether you have music playing or not.
Okay, I gotta
Okay.
ask, were you naked?
Yeah, you're totally naked when you're in there.
Were you afraid?
No, I was not naked and afraid.
Well, I've heard like you can't be, that time of the month when you do that because you're naked.
She got to plan
Right.
around that then.
I guess.
Right?
Not a problem for me. Lucky for me. So
Lucky. Yeah, I've
Looking
researched
forward
this a lot.
I'm looking forward to aging out of that bullshit.
Super annoying.
Mm-hmm.
One time a friend of mine recommended this installation, and I have it now and she doesn't. Mer.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I don't have it.
so Murray, you said you had some breakthroughs during your sessions, right?
It was the achieving your goals session. It was a guided meditation, which Sarah apparently would have loathed. I mean, dude talked the whole time. I mean, there were minutes, I guess. The time was really weird when I was doing these. I don't really know what time was.
Me
But
too.
there were periods of just music though, when he wasn't talking, but he did talk a lot. And so my goal that I wanted to focus on is getting out of bed earlier, which if you're a snoozer, then you understand I have lived my life, my entire life, getting up at the very last minute, throwing some stuff together. If I need to take a shower, I'm going to make sure I have time to take a shower, but that's it. And I'm out the door. It's like rush, 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 rush. It's my whole life.
Same.
So my intention in the goal setting or the achieving your goals session was to, I want to get up early. I want to get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, have some time for myself, maybe do some writing for 20 minutes, like actually enjoy a cup of coffee at home, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that was the intention that I set. And I feel like it was very helpful. I came up with some things that I'm going to try and see how it goes.
Okay.
Sounds productive.
Yeah.
So here's an experiment I did. Dino bought me this wooden puzzle. It's shaped like a turtle and it's all colorful. It was really one of the most fun puzzles I've ever done. But I did the meditation and then I did the puzzle. And as I did the creativity meditation, and I set it on the 15-minute one because it was really long. I'm sure this is not what the app is intended to do. However, this was an experiment I did. I did the meditation for like 2 minutes, and then I held the phone to pause it. And then I went back to the puzzle, and I immediately saw where puzzle pieces went, and I put them in place. And then I went back and I did another 2 minutes of the meditation, and I paused it. I went back to the puzzle, and immediately I was like, oh, bink, bink. And I put puzzle pieces right where they went. It was so cool.
That's interesting.
Can't remember if it was this episode of Rhett and Link or if it was the Good Mythical More, which is like their after show version. Rhett predicted Stevie's number. She had a number in her head. He wrote it down. It was either 17 or 71, and it was 71. It was right after he did this app. Like, what if it unlocks like psychic abilities?
Yeah, it was really cool. The puzzle pieces, it was really cool because I would just like see them and know right where they went.
I'm gonna have to try
But then
this.
if everybody in the world does this app and then everybody has psychic abilities, then there isn't really any spontaneity in the world. And I don't know if I like that.
Well, I think
There
that
is so
if-
many people in the world though.
I think once we get to that point, we're going to have so much control over it that we can decide when we want to be surprised, which for me would be all the time because I
It's
Also,
fucking love surprises.
like Doctor
My-
Strange and all the different like things that he saw.
my puzzle piece understanding did not last long. It lasted for like 2 or 3 pieces and then it was gone. So it's not like I could sit there and put the whole puzzle together or solve a Rubik's Cube. It might get you a
Yet.
couple twists. I know. I had to keep practicing. It was cool though.
I heard that there's a super easy formula to solving a Rubik's Cube.
Oh, I
Yeah.
used
Like,
to know how to do it.
Wah, 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 wah.
No, there is. I did it. It didn't matter how they gave it to you. I could do it and I could solve the Rubik's Cube.
And it's just like a repetitive pattern, right? Just like a repetitive way you twist it and turn it.
It's just like that triangle thing with the pegs in it. There's
Oh yeah.
a formula and
Oh,
a pattern for that. I
ex-
used to know how to do that too.
Cracker
It's
Barrel.
called,
Mhm,
yeah. It's called math.
mhm.
It
Thanks,
works.
teacher TC.
Thanks, TZ.
It
So
works.
I actually didn't, besides the fact that there was somebody talking, which I thought was a little bit annoying, but really every single time they came, there was the, think about your goal, what's getting in the way of your goal, what do you think you could do to make your goal happen? There would be a new flash in a different light. And I swear that's when I thought, that's where the magic's happening. They're doing something to my brain and there's going to be some magic in there. And all of a sudden my goal is going to happen.
I'm glad you brought that up because I watched Jack do the app today and it's just the same pattern of light flashing.
It is?
Yes. Because every time the
Come
music would
on.
change,
No.
it
Are
is
you
just
serious?
flashing. I am 100% serious.
No, there's got to be a long flash because it'd be like
There's
flash,
got to be a
flash, flash.
brighter flash.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. In intensity, yes, but every time the music would dip or change, like Sarah said, everything changes, but it is just the same thing.
That's crazy.
That is
Wow.
weird. That freaks me out just a little bit because it would be a different
Yes,
color.
me too.
Like when you start talking about a different part, it was a different color and a different, weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it is hallucination.
I mean, my
it-
patterns changed with the music, so
Yeah, but the flash didn't, which is
Yeah.
weird because I thought it
Yeah.
was like associated with the flash.
I think it's with the music and whatever theta brainwaves are going on and synchronizing with the music is changing that, and I don't know, your subconscious.
I want to
Okay,
watch
how many-
Fantasia.
How many of you used headphones?
I did once and I did not twice. And I liked it with the headphones much better.
I think I would too. Jess, what about you?
Headphones every time because otherwise there'd be roosters crowing and I wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to concentrate.
That could be
Also-
really cool.
Elsie, did you use headphones every time?
I did twice because I did this while we were in Florida in a hotel room and everybody else was asleep. And I'm like, I don't want to, because I didn't tell anybody. I didn't want anybody else to do it because we had medical reasons on our end. So, yeah, I liked it better with the headphones because it was much louder, more vivid experience.
Sarah, did you use headphones?
No,
Yeah,
I might
I
try
did-
it with that.
Me too. I can't wait. I didn't use headphones. And then when I watched the video, I had headphones on and they played the music as they were doing it. And I was like, dang, I want headphones. So I'm
Yeah.
going to try headphones next time.
I
I
will
think
Yeah, I
it'll
didn't
make
want distractions.
I think it'll make a difference.
Yeah, I think it does.
When
But
I was writing the intro today and listening to Rhett and Link and like coming up with the intro, and I'm listening to the music, I am put back in that place. Even though I don't have my eyes closed, I don't have the flashing light, I could like still picture it.
Yeah, remember we took that class in another episode on how to meditate, and this was natural for me. Like this, boom, I
Yes.
could meditate. I didn't have to try.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I feel the same way.
Has anyone else had that experience where if you're just, things are quiet and all of a sudden there's a loud noise and I guess maybe it's when my eyes are closed and you can see the noise? Like you get that?
Sometimes I get like a bright flash, like a bright white light flash when I hear a loud noise. Maybe. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but when it happens for me, sometimes I see the flash, but I can see the same sort of geometric pattern, like a big
Ah.
geometric pattern a similar thing to what
That
I'm
doesn't-
seeing with this.
That doesn't happen to me
Me
like
either.
when I just hear a loud noise, but that is definitely what happened when I was using the app. It was like tunnels of the same pattern.
Yeah, it's like when you go to one of those, at the movie theater, there's the one movie that's supposed to be more immersive. and they-
3D.
Oh, the
take you-
IMAX.
Yeah, the IMAX. They
Mm.
take you through the tunnels. It kind of felt like that with the kaleidoscope. It was
Yeah.
it was really cool. But it did feel like I was traveling through that tunnel.
See, I feel like mine was more heartbeatish. It would
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, instead of like a travel, it was more,
Hmm.
which is why, for those of you that are not watching, that was like
I know.
boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that's what it was like.
Did anybody have the sun like Jess said? Just well, I
The
mean, I had
sun?
it too, but she had it seemed like the sun.
It seemed
But
like it was
hers-
coming from,
Oh, from above, I didn't have that.
And
didn't
yours was
either.
pointed down, right?
yeah, and I basically was like relaxed on the couch holding the phone like this because I didn't want to drop it on my face because that would definitely make me not meditative anymore.
So you're
Yeah,
like
I've got
holding it in front of your chest, like perpendicular to your face.
Yes,
kind of
so I
deal.
used the boob rest, and it's kind of laid back, but it was down, shining up.
It's like I had it right here, but there were a couple times where it felt like I was outside and it almost felt like my entire body was being illuminated in all this light. Like I was outside. Like I knew what you meant when you said like you felt like the sun was shining down on you.
Yeah. And I was like, well, that's weird because the light's down here and also it's a dark room. So
Yeah. It's very
that-
I,
but it
like
was cool.
That didn't happen to me, but there were times when the light was so white, like everything was like bleached out almost, but it
Me
didn't
too.
last very long.
Mine always started with a white light. Like at first the light was white and I might see shapes or like a starburst in the center and it might pulsate, but then the colors would come.
Well, I think that we should leave our listeners with a challenge to give meditation a try. I mean, we use the Luminate app for this episode on exploration, but there are lots of options in the App Store. Or you can find the YouTube video of the sirens doing the meditation with guest siren Renee. And then make sure you tell us all about your experience by using the hashtag Siren Soapbox on all the social medias. Sirens, this was another fun episode. I know I say that every week, but that's because it's fun every week. Thank you for sharing your experiences with all of us. And thank you, fellow explorer, for listening to this episode. Head over to our website, sirensoapbox.com, where you can find the link to that sirens meditation I was just talking about. That's on YouTube. And while you're at it, subscribe to our YouTube channel for some fun extra footage that you won't get from the podcast alone. And until next time, dive in, stay curious, and be happy. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Siren Soapbox, and a special thank you to C Strings for providing our music. Snag their latest EP from iTunes today. Follow the Sirens on all the social medias, and don't forget to tell your friends about us. Like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. We'll catch you next time on another episode of Siren Soapbox.